So tonight we'll start off with the Q&A. Tonight is not so technical compared to last week. Okay, let's go to the first question. Okay, can y'all see? Okay. All right. No problem with your screen. This is now I put it a bit of slightly greenish, so that it's not so taxing on the eye. I face question one. I face an obstacle in my sitting. For the past few consecutive sittings, I can concentrate on my breath. I can generally follow the full breath, a beginning, middle, and the end. As I become more concentrated, the rest of my mind and thought seems to fade away, leaving only awareness and breath present. I become calmer, steadier, and more relaxed. However, just as my concentration is deepening, my eyes would open on their own, just slightly, a few millimeters. I didn't force it, it happened on its own. This is quite disruptive as I have to stop my meditation, open my eyes wide, close them, and restart my meditation. Since then, whenever I meditate, some anxiety will arise as to whether my eye is going to disrupt my meditation. I try to note the anxiety, but it comes. I try to note the anxiety, but it still comes back because my problem is not yet solved. Can Bhante help me to overcome this obstacle of opening eyes, please? Thank you. All right. Now, so now you think that you have a problem. Actually, it's not really a problem. So now the thing that is disturbing you right now is the eyes that is opening for a few millimeters. Now, if you are doing Vipassana meditation, or even you are doing Samatha meditation, so this time if the eyes is slightly open a little bit, then you learn to accept it as it is. Don't try to force it to close, because it's happened, as you said, it happens on its own. Of course, when we in the beginning of our learning about how to meditate and how to sit, teachers generally will guide you to close your eyes. Close your eyes, and we thought that must be the only way, which is, of course, in the beginning part, you close your eyes for a number of reasons, which I don't want to go into too many to talk onto it. There are a number of reasons why in the beginning that is important. But somewhere in the middle, sometimes the eyes may open slightly a little bit. Now, as long as your eyes open a little bit, then you're aware of it. And then after that, you go back to your in-breath, out-breath. That is perfectly all right. Once your eyes is open, don't put your attention in the eyes. Just aware that your eyes are open, then you bring back attention to the in-breath, out-breath. Now, as long as it would be good that if you know that a number of consecutive sittings that your eyes already start to open slightly, it will be good that this time when you do your sitting meditation, then it would be good you face the wall or you face something that is not distracting to the eyes. Hopefully that there's nobody in front of you walking past, there is some other beautiful objects, and then or it will be good that sometimes we face the wall. If you have a wall to face, sometimes our house, they're full of things, you can't even see the wall. So all depends. So here it is good that slightly keep the eyes open. Don't bother about it, and then go back to your in breath, out breath. We have, if in the Vipassana, we have to things as they really are, is to also learn to accept them. whenever these eyes are open, or sometimes not only eyes open, for some people the some people the hands may move slightly a little bit. Sometimes the body may slanted to the front a little bit. Sometimes to the side a little bit. As long as it does not disturb your meditation, as long as all these slight movements and opening in the eye, for example, as long as it doesn't disturb you, then you learn to take them as they are. And sometimes, certain times, that particular movement may be connected to your main object also. And then you try to show you something, for example. Then because we have our own idea, our own thoughts, and oh, this one cannot, we must close back our eyes. Oh, cannot, we must straighten up the body. Oh, cannot, I must sit in the way that I always been sitting. Slightly changes in my sitting cannot be, it cannot do. That because we cannot accept what is really going on. We only want things our way. So for this case, now if we slightly open your eyes and you learn to accept it, then the anxiety, and then you don't have to go through all the opening all the eyes again, restart the meditation again. Then not necessary. Just keep the eyes slightly open and can continue with your breath. Okay. Oh yes, there are times. If you're sitting in a very bright area, sometimes a very bright area also difficult to keep the eyes closed. Sometimes, if you have if sometimes there are places you cannot avoid, but it's very bright. So sometimes what you do, you wear the eye mask, and then meditate. Okay. No problem. People think that you are weird a little bit, but it's okay. After all, you're at home meditating, so you will do whatever. It's okay. That one is perfectly all right. All right. So just learn to accept it as it is. Question 2. Okay, this is from Brother Chow. Now, sometimes our parents, relatives may request for certain funeral rites and rituals. Many of them are meaningless or even ridiculous, environmentally unfriendly, lavish, and wasteful, etc. Like burning paper mansions and castle, money and other accessories, and lavish offerings and entertaining of guests, etc. Very clearly, their decision requests are greed and ignorant-rooted wrong view. We need to counter them with right view and wisdom. Now, before we're going to read the 1 and 2, now this is something that I inserted here, like burning of paper I inserted here. If not, in this talk, there are devotees from overseas who are not Chinese. They are not Chinese. And when you read the thing like burning of mansion and castle, then they think that Chinese must be super rich, that you burn all these things for them. Money somehow. It's paper money. For us Chinese, we understood it completely. But for those foreigners and you do not know the Chinese customs and rituals, these are all sometimes the very elaborate, very lavish, as you said, burning of all these paraphernalia, paper mansions, castles, and money. And not only that, they burn cars, they burn everything. Now, number 1, how do we guide the aged dying relatives into wanting only meaningful religious rites and rituals? Number 2, if they have insisted or made us promise, does it amount to transgression of promise if we apply wisdom and carry out only those meaningful ones? Say instead we donate some good money to charity in memory of, or can we do to reconcile between filial piety, wisdom, and non-transgression of promise? Huh? Here, just to the Chinese custom is that when we come into the funeral aspect of it, then they have a lot of things, and those days, if you are a rich person, then you kind of like want to show off your wealth in that sense, and then they have a very lavish ceremonies, rituals. Sometimes, if for foreigners, sometimes it's very hard for you to compute. Even sometimes we hire people to come over to do the crying for us. To do the crying for us, and they are professional. They are professional in that sense. So that the coffin is there, and then this professional will come, and then they cry and cry, just to show off to the other guests that this family is a very filial to the mother or to the father, and something like that. And it's quite expensive. Not only that, we have a lot of sometimes different clans. Different clans. Sometimes you have Hokkien, you have Cantonese, you have Teochew, and all that. Sometimes there are certain clans, they have very elaborate. Sometimes they have to if the father or the mother pass away, and then the first child, the first son, you have to run together with the priest or whatever in the maze. My goodness. It's a lot of things. It's very interesting. And one of the things is also that the burning of all these castle, mansion, money, accessories. A lot of things. Nowadays, they try not to burn the mobile phones, because after that, the dead ones will start calling you. They say, so they don't burn that. Anyway, let's come back to the question here. So, how do we guide the dying relatives into wanting only religious rites and rituals? I guess that what you mean is you want to direct your guidance, and then into so that they can do something more meaningful in that sense. Well, first of all, it is not easy, especially for the dying ones. Sometimes the dying ones the mind is not so much there or so much present. They'll be thinking, and they have a lot of sometimes anxiety and so on. And for the aged also, sometimes it's a bit difficult. You see, traditional rites, ritual, they are very ingrained inside us. For many of us, when we do not have much of a Dhamma, then all these rites and rituals, we hold on to them. We become attached to them because over our lives, we've seen people die, we see friends die, we see our relatives pass away, and we see that all these rites and rituals being performed. And therefore, they find that this thing is something comfortable to them, something that they want to do it at the end of their life, and so they want to do all those things. So how do we reconcile these type of things? Now, if you want to guide them, you want to help them, make sure that their mind is clear. One thing, if their mind is clear, it is not easy for them to able to accept what you're going to say. Because sometimes, as I said, people are very obsessive to their tradition and to their way of life. We present to them as much as we can, we don't want to force feed them in that sense. We tell them as best as possible. But if they're still able, they want to attach, then it's you can't do anything much actually. Even if your parents also, you guide them as much as you can. You tell them about dana, you tell them about giving, you tell them about offering, you tell them about offering robes, tell them about doing dana. If you sometimes you may tell the parents if you cannot go, then if in your deathbed, should I do an offering on your behalf? Usually for Chinese they will like to, for a lot of Chinese. But there are for a number of people, they don't want all these things. Especially they don't want to be related to monks, actually. Then they see the monks is a very unfortunate and it's very unlucky to see a monk. Those days, nowadays not so bad, but sometimes you still have a very old traditional way of thinking. But anyway, it is easier when they are alert and we are clear. Sometimes when you come to the aged dying, it's not so easy anymore. So we try our best. We try our best talking about some dana, and you want to do some rites and rituals, and then here, if they ask you to promise you, they ask to to promise, to make the pledge that you will perform the duties, then it is perfectly all right for you to do that, to perform the duties. But also, you can do other things on your behalf, on her behalf or their behalf or his behalf, whether they know it or not, even after they pass away, that you can do it in memory of so and so, or you can do dana of a book in memory of them. And we can see that sometimes a lot of Dharma books at the back of it is in memory of so and so. So it's perfectly all right whether they ask you or they don't ask you. So it's perfectly all right for you to do that. So if you say that you do, then it's good that you do. Because when we are in a lay world, lay devotees world, we are not in a monk's world or a nun's world. When you're in a lay devotees world, you have to learn to balance between tradition and also teachings of the Buddha. Now, in the number of suttas, when it's connected with lay people, the Buddha also mentioned that the Buddhist tradition, the Hindu tradition, or not the Hindu, sorry, you cannot say Hindu. Sometimes there are Brahminic tradition, that was being, of course, those time and the Buddha's time. And those Brahminic tradition, certain times they have, the Buddha asked them, you have to fulfill that obligation for them in that sense also. So it's not easy for them just to let go of all these rituals, rites, and so on. So to the same case over here. So usually, my advice into these type of things is that if the family wants to perform, then it's perfectly all right for you to perform. But your mind knows that this is not necessary. But if the family and the siblings want it, then it's perfectly all right. Sometimes we are so obsessive with our own view, is that sometimes family, when the parents or the mother or the father pass away, then the siblings insist of doing this way, and then you may insist of doing another way. Then there's a lot of quarrel, a lot of unhappiness, in the family. So it's best that we come to a consensus with the parents and also with the siblings, and then you come to a consensus what you want to do. And it's perfectly for you to perform, and you want to take up the joystick and so on. It's perfectly all right. You know that this is not necessary, but to fulfill a promise, to fulfill a pledge, and then you do it. It's perfectly all right. Then later on, when your time to come, when it's your time, then you can always make your own request. As I said, this thing may not be necessary. Then what you should do with the body, what you should do in memory of, then you can always give instruction according to what you want. But for other people, for your parents, it's not easy. So it's usually good that we learn to at least have harmony in the community or in the family, that we also can participate into it. No problem, actually. You don't be so hard. You are not a monk or you are not a nun. I'm a monk. I don't do all these type of things. Then people also don't expect the monk to do all these type of things. So it's perfectly all right. But you are a lay person. So when a lay person, you must learn to balance. And then the harmony for everybody, it's very good. So, all right. So hopefully, there's nothing. These things I've given it up for a long time already. So I do not have much of idea what to talk about already. Because I don't do all these types of things anymore for 20 over years already. So it's all this one already. I don't have much of these thoughts anymore. All right. Anyway, we'll see. Okay, next question. All right, question 3. What type of meditation did the Buddha do the night before gaining enlightenment? Number 2, extracted from Majjhima Nikaya 26 as below. What does it mean as highlighting Buddha extended it? As you can see, when my mind immersed in samadhi like this, purified, bright, flawless, rid of corruption, pliable, workable, steady, and imperturbable, I extended it toward recollection of past lives. I recollect many past lives. Okay, before we talk about this, we have to change a few things here. The question may not be so right also. First of all, question number 2. Question number 1. And also question 2, also something wrong. Note. This is not from Majjhima Nikaya. This is number 2. This is for question 2, sorry. This is for question 2. This is for question 1. No, that one is for question 1. Okay. Not the Buddha said it, but the Bodhisattva. He hasn't gained enlightenment yet. Okay. Number 2, this is not from Majjhima Nikaya 26. This is Nikaya 36. I was going looking at Majjhima Nikaya 26. The bokong anemika mana ada, I go and look 3 times, 4 times. Nothing. So it's coming from number 36 or number 4, Majjhima Nikaya number 4. Anyway, we're going to look into it a little bit more. Okay. So what type of meditation did the Buddha do the night before gaining enlightenment? Okay, the night before gaining enlightenment. Let's go look into this. All right. The first watch, second watch, third watch of the night. During the Buddha's time, in the Indian culture, as a whole, then the night is divided into 3 parts. First watch and second watch and third watch. First part, second part, and third part of it. Now, first watch is roughly around from 6 p.m. to around 10 p.m., about 4 hours. About 4 hours. And then second watch will be around 10 p.m. to around 2 a.m. And then third watch is around 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. the next day. So this is how they divide the time during the Buddha's time. They divide the time in that sense, in that way. All right. So what did the Buddha meditate? What did the Bodhisattva meditate actually? All right. Now, in the first watch of the night, he meditated on all the four jhanas, using for the four jhanas, and then after that he recollect the past lives. Okay. Now, in the second watch of the night, and then after that he developed the divine eye. Divine eye means he can to have knowledge of the passing away and reappearance of beings according to their karma. According to their karma. Okay. So these are direct knowledges or abhinya. So recollecting of past life and divine eye. In the third watch of the night, then the Bodhisattva was looking into dependent origination, paticca samuppada, and then with the going forward of the dependent origination, going reverse on the dependent origination, then the Buddha gained his supreme enlightenment. Then only he's called the Buddha. So this is what the Buddha meditated on this one. All right. Then just to show you a little bit. Just to show you a little bit. We go out. Okay. Stop sharing, and then we go a little bit. We go into. Okay. Can y'all see? Okay, wait. I show you something. This is from. Let me see. This is from chapter Majjhima Nikaya number 4. Fear and dread. Fear and dread here. Let me go into the part that connected to the this one. Okay, here. Okay, quite secluded from sensual pleasure, secluded from. Wait. Can y'all see? Okay, you can see. I tell you honestly, if you're using a mobile phone to try to look at all these things, I think you're going to go blind. Anyway, I got to move this screen. I think I cannot read it. All right. Okay, quite secluded from sensual pleasure, secluded from unwholesome state. I ended about the first jhana. All right. 24, with the stealing and applied and sustained thought, vitakka and vichara, I entered and abided in the second jhana. Okay. 25, with the fading away as well of rapture, I abide in equanimity and mindful and fully aware. Then it comes to the third jhana. All right. 26. Wait, sorry. 26, okay. With the abandoning of pleasure and pain, with the previous disappearance of joy and grief, I entered upon the fourth jhana, which is neither, this is the fourth jhana. So first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana. Then after that, this is where the second question here. When my concentrated mind was purified, bright, unblemished, rid of imperfection, malleable, wieldy, steady, and attained to imperturbability, I directed it to knowledge of recollection of past life. I recollect manifold past life, 1 birth, 2 birth, 3 birth, 4 birth, and so on. That one you all can read. This is how he recollect in the past life. Now the second part, this is the first watch there. This is the first watch of the night. All right. The second watch of the night. Again on the 29th, you see here, when my concentrated mind was thus purified, bright, and unblemished, rid of imperfection, malleable, wieldy, steady, attained, I directed it to the knowledge of passing away and reappearance of beings. What does that mean? With the divine eye, which is purified and surpassed the human, I saw beings passing away and reappearing, inferior, superior, and superior, fair and ugly, fortunate and unfortunate. I understood how beings pass on according to their actions. These worthy beings who are ill-conducted in body, speech, and mind, revilers of noble ones, wrong in their views, giving effect to wrong view in their actions, on the dissolution of the body after death, have reappeared in a state of deprivation, in bad destination, in perdition, even in hell. But these worthy beings, then you all can read the opposite of it. Okay. Now, in the third watch of the night, now, here it says that I directly to know the destruction of things. I directly knew as this is suffering. I directly knew this is the suffering. That means once he knew these things, he already a bodhisattva. But what happened before when he knows this Four Noble Truth? Before that, he was looking into the paticca samuppada, the dependent or interdependent origination, whichever you want to translate it. Yeah? So he looked into the paticca samuppada. Then with that, the origin of the Four Noble Truth arises. Then with that Four Noble Truths, then he gains his supreme enlightenment. That is in the last watch of the night. It may not mention over here, but in other suttas it mentioned these things. Okay, so you can go and read Majjhima 36 or Majjhima number 4. Okay, now I go back to the screen sharing again, because again something I need to discuss about that. So now you want to know, what does it mean by the Buddha extended it? Now here again the Bodhisattva extended it, not the Buddha. Well, this one in the other translation, the Bhikkhu Bodhi that I used, they use the word directed, extended or directed. Directed means, before I want to talk about this, some of the things I cannot really know. These are the things that I need to go through with you. Okay. Can y'all see? Because there are 4 inconceivable matters that one should not try to conceive. One who tries to conceive them will reap either madness or frustration. What for? The domain of the Buddhas is an inconceivable matter that one should not try to conceive. One who tries to conceive it will reap either madness or frustration. The domain of one in jhana, the result of karma, the speculation about the world. The domain of jhana, that means here, number 2, it means also nibbana and also the insights and so on. That one also is inconceivable matter. You cannot think about it too much. You only have to experience them. The result of karma also, you cannot know when the result of karma is going to come or when it's finished. Sometimes ignorantly or unmindfully, there are times that sometimes devotees thinking that, oh, now this life, I suffer this much. I don't know what I've been done, but let me finish my karma from this life so that next life I don't have to go through all this burden anymore. Don't think about that, that is wrong thinking, because you never know how much the karma is still there, how much karma you have paid. You really do not know. You think that you know, but you really have zero idea about the result of karma. A result of karma is not a 1 + 1 = 2. It is that when you do one action, it may comes out for 1,000,000 lives that you have to bear up with that consequences. So it's not as easy as directly to understand the result of karma. So we can only understand the principle of karma. You do good, you get good resultant. You do bad, you get unhappy resultant. Speculation about the world here is that, for example, you know about the beginning of the world or beginning of the defilements, and how did the samsara start, how the samsara will end, and you know, the Buddha have given us, but how it start, you have no idea. And for example, like who made this world, who make this, who make that, all these things is speculation about the world. For a lot of other religion, it's so easy. The God made everything, the God start everything, so easy the answer. But no, the Buddha says this one you should not go and speculate about all these things. So the domain of the Buddhas here, which is also included in the question here also, although this time it's still in the bodhisattva stage, but also I cannot able to foresee what is going in through the bodhisattva or the Buddha's mind. This is not, we cannot able to understand it so much. But what I can offer to you is the disciples' mind, how they able to bring the mind into recollection of past lives. That one, perhaps I can talk about it. Talk about the Buddha, the Bodhisattva's mind, that one is not my area. Anyway, what I can talk about it is that when one wants to attain these direct knowledges, that means all these supernormal powers. For example, like the first one is the recollection of past life. The second one is the divine eye, that you can able to see beings, how they appear and reappear according to their karma. Then this is what I can say. Now, if you want to do it, let's say time is in your hand, and first of all, you have to master a meditation. You have to master a meditation that you can able to enter into first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana. That's according to the sutta. Or according to Abhidhamma, there will be 5. So let's say you take up Anapanasati. And by the way, then this one, number 1, what type of meditation did the Buddha do the night before gaining enlightenment? That also, I think the Buddha is doing in-breath, out-breath. Because during that time, in-breath, out-breath is a very popular method of meditation. A lot of ascetics during that time, they do a lot of in-breath, out-breath. Don't think that in-breath, out-breath is wrong, or don't even also think that rising and falling is all wrong. Don't worry about those things. But anyway, this is what the Buddha did when the Bodhisattva did before he gains enlightenment. But if one wants to gain this abhinya, then you have to master the Anapanasati, all the 4 jhanas, the 4 rupa jhanas. You have to master them. When we say mastery of them, that means you have to able to jump from one jhana to another jhana, coming out from that jhana into this jhana, that jhana. You can go into jhana anytime you want to. Like you sit down, okay, now go into third jhana, close the eyes, then boom, boom, go into jhana already. Within like a second or two, he's already entered into the jhana. That means they are very skillful in entering. So when you have these things, and also you must able to develop the kasina also. You must develop the 10 types of kasina of the samatha meditation. And then with those kasina, you must able to enter into every of this jhana. That means you must be so good in entering and coming out of the jhana if you want to train your mind to that. And then what else am I think the Brahma Vihara, if I'm not mistaken. There are some of it you have to train until you are very good. Now, let's say you're very good already. Let's say you're very good. Now, you want to extend it or you want to direct it. So this time with the power, you come out of the fourth jhana. You come out of the fourth jhana. This time you extend. That means your mind, direct the mind into the time. You start off with this life first, but in your past. You start off with this life first. Like in your past, like what happened yesterday, the day before, you was able to recollect it. And you can recollect it into your childhood, and then you recollect into your time of your birth also. Then after that, you direct it, and you will the mind into the last life that you have. The last life, you may not be a human, you may be a deva, or you may come out from animal. I don't think animal, but maybe from devas or another human. Maybe you can able to see that. And then perhaps after that you see yourself. You see what you wear or what your name and so on. You see it clearly. Then with that, you go into your two lives. And then after that, you train to see the 2 lives ago, and then 3 lives ago, and then you extend it as far as you can go. Then you have the power of seeing into the recollection of the past lives. Nowadays, there's this modern technique of doing all this past life, all this regression technique. Not to say that they are all untrue. There's some of them may be some truth in it, but these are not direct knowledges. Even if you don't meditate, at times there are glimpses of your past comes up, or even sometimes in your past lives come up, and you may not understand what is that. Sometimes you may not understand that. You may see something in your dreams, or sometimes it may connect it to the past lives. Sometimes in the hypnotic regression and so on, those type of past life, you only see a certain part of the past life only, a certain limited portion of a past life, and with that they use it to overcome a certain psychological problem or some pain in the present life right now. And it's helpful because they kind of like free themselves from all these hang-ups. Anyway, those are not fully in the sense of recollecting past life like what is like mentioned in the text. All these things are actual mental development, and you can actually develop it if you want to. You can go through all the past lives. And this is how they do it. Because the mind is very clear and is very sharp. So once your mind is able to do so much of this jhana, then even the disciples' mind are also purified, bright, flawless, rid of corruption, pliable, workable. That means pliable, workable here. That day we talk about it, malleable, we talk about that kaya pasadi, kaya chitta pasadi, those type of things that we talk about. The mind is flexible, workable, bendable, something like that. This is all mentioned here. So when you recollect into your past life, then you can do that. That is how it can be done. I cannot say what the Bodhisattva can do, but I can say what the disciple of the Buddha could able to do. So something this one. All right. This is the inconceivable matter. So question number 4. Nibbana is non-self. Can Bhante please elaborate on this? Thank you. Nibbana is non-self. Yes. The word Nibbana is non-self. Usually they come from this one. Usually. they use the word sabbe sankhara anicca, sabbe sankhara adukkha, sabbe anatta, sabbe dhamma anatta, sabbe dhamma anatta. So formations, sabbe sankhara anicca, sabbe sankhara dukkha. All mental and physical formation and all mental and physical processes, they are all anicca and dukkha. And also this mental and physical formation, they are also under anatta. But the Buddha used the word sabbe dhamma anatta is because that they want to include nibbana and also perhaps other times concept also. Concept also. Now here the thing is nibbana here, we are more interested. Nibbana has a non-self aspect, but it does not have anicca or dukkha aspect. Okay? Non-self, nibbana has anatta aspect, but no anicca, no dukkha. Whereas five aggregates, or all these mental formation or physical formations, they have anicca, dukkha, and anatta. Okay, they have anicca, dukkha, anatta. So anatta is for everything. So, but the thing is that what is this anatta first? Anatta here means uncontrolled. You cannot able to control it. Oneself cannot able to control it. You cannot mastery it. You cannot master it. Take a simple example. Not talk about nibbana yet. Take a simple example to understand what is a simple example of non-self. Take for example. Okay. Sometimes you go to a clinic or you do a doctor, they want to see whether your reflex is good. They use a little hammer and then they knock on your knee and then your leg will start moving, right? Before you do it to yourself, next time, you tell yourself, I don't want the leg to move, I don't want the leg to move, I don't want the leg to move. Then somebody knock on your feet. Will it still move? It will still move. That is in a sense of non-self. You cannot able to control it. Or for example, another example, you're getting forgetful as you grow older. You're getting forgetful and you're not able to remember things. But you tell yourself, I want to remember, I want to be like in the previous, before that I could able to remember. Then you slowly in the future, you go into Alzheimer and you forget everything. Can you control those things? You cannot control at all. There's no way that you can able to control as it slides into all this sickness. You tell yourself you don't want to die of cancer, but cancer still pop up. You tell yourself you don't want to have this pain or that pain, but the pain still come in. You cannot control it. We want to believe that we think we can able to control, but we are not able to control it actually. Then all these things is because of there are condition or causes. When they have condition or causes, then the resultant will come. Not you want it, not the self want it, not the soul want it, not some God or some Almighty wants it. It's because of just cause and condition, and then the resultant comes in as they are. So for these five aggregates or these sankharas, they are always in the state of impermanence. They are always in a state of dukkha. And because of their state of impermanence and dukkha, and because of their keep on changing on their own, therefore these five aggregates are also non-self, because he is not able, there's no self that's controlling it. There's no I that is controlling it. It's due to cause and effect. Now, when it comes to Nibbana as a non-self, then we don't look into the nature of conditioning. We don't look in the nature of conditioning because, after all, Nibbana is unconditioned. Now, Nibbana is non-self in the sense that, again here, there is no mastery. It's already there, so-called, with inverted comma. All you need to do is have to have that consciousness of Magga and Phala, the path and the fruition consciousness. The moment you have that path and fruition consciousness, you see Nibbana. You don't have that path and fruition consciousness, you cannot see Nibbana. So it's so-called there. So-called there. So it's not controlled by you, or it's not controlled by others and so on. It's already there. So Nibbana also falls under non-self. There's nothing control it. It does not condition, because it's the nature of unconditioned. Okay, so Nibbana is non-self in that way. It is also in the sense that when we talk about how we enter into the nature of seeing Nibbana, when there is the triple gateway of entering into Nibbana. One is by anicca, dukkha, or anatta. So if you see that all your five aggregates of keep on changing on their own, and they're getting fast and they're getting slow, and they are changing on their own. You see the cause, you see the condition coming up, and they are changing very fast, and then after that, when their mind matures and it enters into the enlightenment process, the insight leading to emergence, then when you see Nibbana, at that time, you see the void Nibbana. You see it as empty. You see it's empty of five aggregates. So it's called a void Nibbana. So that void also, because you see the nature of that voidness of five aggregates, that nature also considered as a characteristic of non-self also. It's void of a self in that sense. So this is, and then again, this is called Nibbana when you see it as non-self. So see it for yourself. You go and meditate and then see it for yourself, then you can understood it completely. Now it may not so easy for us to understand it. We only understand it through words and through theory and through thinking and reflection only. But Nibbana is for us to experience it. One of the unconceivable things. Anyway, okay. Question 5. If an Anagarika and Samanera can both observe the 10 precepts, what is the difference between them in terms of Parisuddhi Sila, purification of Sila? This is from Brother Craig. Now, I have to explain a number of things here. Before we answer the questions. First of all, you should not use the word Parisuddhi Sila. Now, let me look into it a bit bottom here. Parisuddhi Sila, morality consists in purity, is fourfold. Restraint with the regards of monk disciplinary code. Sense restraint, purity of livelihood, morality with the regards of the four monks' requisites. Now here the Parisuddhi Sila is mainly used for the bhikkhus or the bhikkhunis. So it does not meant for this Anagarika or this one. So this is, you're using the word Parisuddhi Sila in the wrong context. I think this is in the wrong context. Now, what is Anagarika? What is the Samanera? What is the 10 precepts? Anagarika, Anagarika, that means that he or she is not a monk, but he or she aspire to become a monk. Okay, so Anagarika. In Thailand, they call it Pakao. They call it Pakao. And you go into this monastery, they wear white. They wear white. Sometimes they wear the shape like a monk. They wear sarong. They wear longi also, but in white color. In other tradition, even Anagarika, they use it for nuns or for sayales, Anagarika. Like for example, when you go into Nepal, Theravada nuns, they call it Anagarika so and so, like for example, Anagarika Chini, Anagarika, they use the word Anagarika. So in Thailand, especially this Anagarika, they are aspire to become a monk. Now Samanera here, Samanera means that you are ordained. You have a lower ordination. You haven't taken up. You are not a bhikkhu yet or a bhikkhuni, but it's still a Samanera. Samanera observe 10 precepts. Samanera must observe the 10 precepts. Anagarika, a person that aspire, or even a nun, you can do 8 precepts or you can do 10 precepts. It depends on you. But for most people, they usually do the 8 precepts, because the 10 precepts, you do not touch money. You do not touch money. In the olden days, you call it gold and silver, but in the modern times, it's money, financial, all this money. So Anagarika here and Samanera, what are the difference in the sense of this sila? Don't use the word parisuddhi. Just use the word in terms of sila. Now, Anagarika is not ordained. Samanera is ordained. So that means that Samanera, they are wearing the monk's robe already. They are wearing the monk's robe. Anagarika, they don't wear the monk's robe. When you wear a monk's robe, it's very different from just wearing a lay person's robe, and you have the same sila. Let's say you take a 10 precept and this one also 10 precept, but one is ordained. It's very different, because once you are ordained, there are people look at you already. The devotees will be looking at you. So not only you have 10 precepts in the Samanera, also you're supposed to train into another 75 training rules. 75 training rules. Some of the training rules is like, for example, how you should wear your robes. When you go out, how you should wear your robes. When you meet a teacher, how you should wear your robes, for example. When you're eating, for example, talking about eating, how you should learn to eat properly. How to not just eat mindfully, but not like a greedy person. You have to, how you should eat properly. All this like a small cultured way of eating. You cannot, like, for example, your finger, you cannot just keep on licking your fingers like a finger licking good. You cannot do that. You cannot do all these type of ways. You must learn how to eat properly, not like simply like a lay person eating. Whereas Anagarika, they are not trained into the other 75 training rules, and not many people will be looking at them because they are still wearing a white color. So in terms of Samanera, then even both have 10 precepts, but Samanera has even higher responsibility. And also when there's more responsibility, that means the sila in overall, much more better compared to Anagarika. Compared to Anagarika. In the certain tradition, Anagarika, they want you to train in Anagarika because before they ordain you as a Samanera. One of the things is that because these Anagarika, sometimes they may come from other religion and they do not know about anything about Buddhist ways, how Buddhist way of life, Buddhist way of doing things, the bowing, the all these rites and rituals of the Buddhism. They do not know all these type of things. So then some people wants to ordain as a monk, or before they ordain as the monk, they have to look at their behavior, whether this person is suitable to be ordained as a Samanera or not. So we got to look at them, whether it is to ordain them, because once you ordain them, the Samanera is the responsibility of the teacher. If he's creating a lot of havoc, a lot of problems to the other monks or to the community or lay people, and then it'll be very, the name and the place, the name and the reputation will be affected. So therefore, they put them as an Anagarika in order to see whether they are suitable to become monks or nuns. But for those people who are Buddhists for a long period of time, and they have a lot of this tradition, understanding, sometimes they don't go through this Anagarika stage. They can able to be ordained already because people already know them, that they know the culture, they know respect, they know how to do this and do that. Then sometimes they don't go through this Anagarika stage. So, but for other places, they want you to go through this Anagarika stage. So here in the Anagarika stage, that is, you are still a layperson, whereas a Samanera, you are more than that. So in the sense that in the terms of sila, it's much more greater than this one. Whereas when you observe 10 precept and 10 precept, by itself, they are almost the same thing. They are the same thing actually. But Samanera carries a heavier load in the sense of they got other silas to take note also. So this is in terms of the Anagarika and Samanera. Okay. So that's about it for tonight. That's all for the Q&A session. All right. So we stop here, and then we have Monday again. We'll continue with the Dhamma talk on the morality. Same time. All right. Let me share my reads.